Hey everyone, so another video on the Fiesta today. So we are going to be draining and refilling the gearbox. So let's go in and see what's involved. Okay, so I've got the vehicle up, pretty high. One advantage to a sort of sloped driveway is you can jack it up quite high on the front. So we've got up as far as we can, which is really good, sort of maximum height on the axle stands, which is good, and the vehicle's actually in theory level now, which is good. We've got plenty of room underneath. So we're going to be draining and refilling it. Now I believe there's like a little plastic box at the front of the gearbox. I haven't done this on this car yet. So I believe there's a little plastic box at the front of the gearbox on this. You've got to sort of unclip the front of it, undo a couple of bolts by the looks of it, that'll pull away, and then there should be the two bolts that we need to do on the back and behind there. I believe one is an 8mm sort of Allen key, or sort of hex unit, and the other is just a 19mm bolt for the drain just below it. So we're going to go quickly underneath of the vehicle now, and we're going to have a look and see where all that is, and then we're going to sort of go into taking it all apart and getting it drained. Okay, so this is looking at the front of the Fiesta. So it's on the passenger side. If you're, a UK variant of the car like me, like right-hand drive, it's on the passenger side of the vehicle. So we're just coming in underneath here. So we're coming in underneath, and right away we've got this black box here. Some of them have still got some of those unclipped. So normally that's clipped on there as is, and sort of goes up past this sort of selector rod and everything else. So all this does is just unhooks from these by the looks of it, and there's sort of 4 there, and then there's one up on the top here, one on the side up here, there's everything up here, one on the top left hand side up here, there we go, and literally just fell off. So now we're looking at sort of our selector rods and everything else, and if we come up in here, there is our drain plug. There we go, there's our drain plug, and our fill plug, if this camera will pick up on it, is this one here. Let the camera adjust. It's just up where my finger is here. That is our fill plug there. Give me 2 moments. Okay, so I've got the torch on. Here is our fill plug here, and as I thought, that is a sort of hex or Allen key unit, and this is just a big bolt by the looks of it. I've got my 19. Yep, that fits. And I don't actually have an 8mm, but I do have a 5/16, so I'd recommend you probably get your 8mm, but that fits in there nicely. So this is quite a useful tool to have. You get like sort of box selections of these, and obviously they're Allen keys, but they've got 2 different sizes, and then you can put different sockets on them to undo them. But that just slots in there, and that'll be to undo the top plug, and then that's our drain plug, which is just a conventional sort of nut. Now the other thing is, I think if I undo this and try to drain it, it's all going to hit this. So I'm probably going to look at undoing this box off of it. It looks like it's just got a selection of these little 8mm bolts around it, and you've got kind of one at the bottom here, there's one here, there's one up in the corner up here, there's one over here, there. So there's a couple sort of dotted around, so I'll probably just go about undoing those now, and then we'll get this plastic sheath away, and we should be able to start draining that oil. Okay, yeah, so just got the 8mm on there, that seems to fit pretty well. So we're just going to go ahead and start taking all these little 8mm bolts out from all around this little box here. Okay, so that's actually really easy. It's just 3 screws on the bottom of it that look like this. The top sort of seems to hoop around there, so I couldn't be able to take it all the way out. So what I've done is I've just cable tied it there. So it's just pulled back quite far, gives ample room now to get to the bolt and to the fill plug. So with this, I would always recommend doing the fill plug first, getting this one off first, because what you don't want to do is take this off, empty it out, and you can't get it off because it's welded itself shut. So we're going to go ahead and try and get this one off first. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. I've got a bit more room under here now. So the 5/16 end is the side that goes in. This bit here is 19mm. So the ring spanner can go on there like that. Well, it will go in here. Let me just try and get that to come in like this. So the ring spanner can go on there like that, and you just turn this as if it was, effectively a ratchet at that point, or a wrench. That's going to turn that, and that's going to undo it. The alternative is if you've got like a nice bar with a 9mm, because mine's a 9mm on the other side, that can go in there, and you can use it just as a ratchet sort of thing. I'm going to try this way first, just because it's closer to this. If I have that in there, it's kind of moving my hand away from it. I don't want to put too much pressure on and it kink. So I think having that on there nice and close to the head and turning it that way is going to be a bit of a safer bet, really. So let's go ahead and give that a go. Taps to start with. Hey, look, bloody hell. And he is loose. Okay, so I think the gods are in my favour today. So that is now loose. So you can see I can turn this by hand, like so. So I know that I can now take out the fill plug. So I might as well take it out. What we're going to do now is we're going to start working on the bottom one. That looks a bit more rusted, so I'm not so optimistic about that one. But yeah, let's go ahead and start work on the drain plug. Okay, so we're just going to move on to this drain plug now. A bit of oil, as I undid, there's a bit of oil sort of dripped down and gone onto here. You never know, that might help loosen it up. So it's a 19mm, and I do have the 19mm socket, but again, I want to try and keep this as close to the body as I can. So I'm just going to get the 19mm spanner on there. I have got a bucket underneath just in case it all comes flying out at 100 mile an hour. Don't think it will. I've also got the gravity adjustment tool. So if I get that on there nice and flush, and just give it a couple of taps. Ooh. I hope that's not rounding it off. Hopefully that's undoing it. That is undoing it, I think. Okay, so that is coming out. That's quite a little bit. I'm not too worried about it being on there. I can probably get the 19mm socket on in there and just do it the rest of the way on that. Da, 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 da. Now, I believe this is about 2.3 litres. It's not a huge amount that goes into these. It's nice and clean. It's not magnetic, which is good. I think that looks like a magnetic tip to this. Not magnetic. Looks clean. I can't see any bits of it. It's not shiny, which is always nice to see. It's always a bit worrying when you see the old metallic effect oil coming out. But that's fine. It smells nice and clean as well. So let's go ahead, drain all of this, and then start filling up the box as well. So that's that bit done. Let's crack on with letting it drain for a few minutes and then refilling. Okay, so that's been draining for a little while now. So that's all in there. I think that's about all we're going to get out of there. So we're just going to go ahead, get the drain plug put back in, and then we're going to start getting the oil in then. And I've brought, this is my trusty pump. So you've just got a nice little pump bottle with a hook on the end. That hooks inside the fill plug hole and holds it there then. Fills up with the oil and you just pump it. The box does say 2.3 litres to go into there. However, because the car is level, which is quite useful, so although it is jacked up, because the driveway is sloped, the car is actually level. So I'm just going to top it up until the oil is level with where the fill plug is. that is normally the indication of where the oil should be. Now obviously if you've got your vehicle jacked up, and it's obviously leaning backwards, it's going to take a bit more oil than it should. So what I would do is I would measure the oil that's in that pan now, so I know exactly how much I drew out from it, and then I put that amount of oil back into this pump. Obviously this pump only takes, I think it's sort of 500, I think it's a litre at a time. So, you know, if I took that out now, if I measured that and it came out at 1.9, I could fill it up to 1 and then up to 9 and put that back in there, and that's going to be the same amount. If you're like me and you're lucky and you've got a bit of a sloped drive, the car is now level, technically, and I can just fill that up to where it needs to come out the hole. But yeah, there we go. So get that drain plug back in and let's get it topped up. Okay, so for the oil, APD Car Parts again, absolute lifesavers. They've managed to get me out some of this oil. So it's 3 litres. This is 2.3, so they only sell these in litres. So we've got 3 litres of this in. I'll leave a link up to it in the description for the video. But again, a huge thank you for them for sending this out for me. It is a massive you know, a help for this, because you know it's a lot of work keeping these cars on the road, especially when you go on track a lot. You know, service intervals are generally shorter. Doing things like gearbox flushes, which you just don't really think about with a road car all that much. You know, if you're going on track 4, 5, 6 times a year, stuff you start to think about more. I haven't done it on this car yet, so you know I'm going to be flushing it through and putting some new stuff in ahead of the next few events. So huge thank you to them for getting that out. Some nice high quality stuff as well. So we're going to get that in now. I'm going to get it into that fill tub and we're going to start filling it up, and then we're done pretty much. Okay, so this is the setup for this. So bottles there, that comes up, and the tube just hooks in there like that. Super easy, means I can just pump it from out here as well. The bottles do come with these tubes, so you can, in theory, get that up and sort of squeeze it and get it in, but it's just so much easier having a little bottle like this out here that you can just pump away and it just gets it in there nice and quick for you. So let's start getting that in. Okay, so that was me pumping the oil in. I got pretty much exactly 2 litres in there. And what I did, the oil that I collected in this pan, obviously there's still a tiny bit left in the bottom, I poured into my jug dispenser, and it's almost exactly on 2 litres. I did spill a little bit here, I was pouring a bit haste, but I am, well, pretty much, it's on a bit of a slope there, but I am pretty much bang on 2 litres. So 2 litres have come out, 2 litres have gone back in, which is bang on. It's exactly what I wanted. What you can tell is it just starts dripping out through that top hole. As soon as it started dripping, I put a tiny bit more in and then stopped, and it was pretty much exactly bang on 2 litres. I mean, it was a fraction off at the bottom there. But I think that's going to be exactly the same amount that has come out of the gearbox, which is great to see. So we know we've got the right amount in there. I've put the fill plug back in, so that's now back in and tightened up. Nothing's coming out of there anymore. I've dried up both of those bolts, and nothing's coming out anymore, which is good. So that is the job pretty much done. So hopefully that's really helpful to you guys. It's just getting that plastic sort of trim back on and then the cover back on, and that's the whole job. So hopefully this is useful to some people. Like I said, I had to sort of get underneath and have a look around a little bit, and it sort of made sense once I saw all of it. But yeah, it's just sort of hidden in behind that plastic panel. So there you go, that is it done. I'm just going to sort of put it all back together now and sort of get rid of this oil into my big container, and then yeah, all done. So let's crack on and get that bit done. Okay, so that is it all back on and back together again. So it's just doing up those bolts. Obviously there's one, the other 2 are inside. and then getting this plate back on. So when doing these up, just making sure you're getting them tight so they don't flex on here at all. They seem to have like a longer thread than what you'd think. So it just took a while to get takes a while to get them in all the way. You can think, oh, it's a bit wobbly still. I swear they're tight, but just sort of keep going, and then they're there, and it's nice and solid on there now. Then this front cover just clips back on, and that is the job done. So huge thank you to APD. Obviously it's good to flush that through. The oil looks, you know, it didn't look bad. It was a bit darker, and it looked like it had been sort of a bit worn and things like that. You know, just typical sort of transmission fluid. I mean, the vehicle's on 130,000 now, so obviously we've done the sump, done this, and we're looking at a few other bits soon. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful for some people, and see you on the next video.